you have the Lions haters out there, and they're always going to say, well, same old Lions because the Fords, right? Mm-hmm. So let's go back and look. Sheila took over the team officially in June. At that time, the haters said that she wouldn't fire Quinn or Patricia because that they were owed too much money. There's no way they're going to get rid of that. They're not going to eat that kind of cash when there's still years left on the contract. They said she certainly wouldn't fire them during the season when it became apparent that they were actually going to be gone at some point. And then they were fired after Thanksgiving. Things happened quickly with Sheila. They said that they would screw up the head coach and GM hires because Sheila doesn't know anything about football, and Rod Wood just has too much influence, and what does he know? He's not a football guy. So what did they do? They went out and they hired Chris Spielman as a football voice to sit in on the interviews. Then they brought in advisors Rod Graves, Mark Hollis, and Barry Sanders. Mike Dissner was kept on to handle the salary cap and the player negotiations, something that he'd been a part of for years prior to joining the Lions back in 2019. That exhaustive search led them to Brad Holmes, a draft veteran, top college scout, to be the GM. The added experience around him, bringing in Rams director of pro scouting Ray Agnew. Then they had former Chiefs and Browns GM John Dorsey to fill in the lack of experience. The head coaching hire, as I mentioned earlier in the show, the only new head coaching hire with any NFL head coaching experience. Now, to complement the hire, what they do? They brought in Anthony Lynn, offensive coordinator, who was a head coach for a few years and offensive coordinator before that. Make up for the deficiencies that Dan Campbell has. On the defensive side, coveted D-backs coach Aaron Glenn gets the nod as defensive coordinator. He was interviewed for head coaching jobs and other defensive coordinator jobs. Dom Capers added on as a senior defensive assistant and brings with him a wealth of experience, decades in the NFL, let alone over a decade as a defensive coordinator, including a Super Bowl. Deuce Staley, Aubrey Pleasant, Hank Fraley, Mark DeLeon, all chose to be part of Dan Campbell's staff over other offers. They're never going to move on from Stafford. That was the other narrative, right? Sheila and Rod love him. Stafford will never leave. He's too comfortable stealing money. Well, wrong again. Stafford asked for the trade. Lions didn't fight him on that. Both sides knew it was time, and yeah, but they're never going to get anything of value for him, right? That was the next thing. What happened here? They just got 2 first-round picks. They got a 3rd-round pick, and they get Jared Goff. And if Goff sucks, oh well, move on, and it doesn't really hurt you all that much. So when you look at it all, haters are going to hate Doug, but their oxygen is waning by the second. Sheila and Rod have made monumental changes to the organization, and only time's going to tell, of course, if they work, but the tired lines of they don't care or they're cheap, it just doesn't fly right now. Sheila's been incredibly proactive in just 7 months. They have a vision of how to change the culture, and they're trying to execute it, and hopefully it works. One thing that I think they've definitely done right now is they made a concerted effort to bring about a coaching staff that can communicate and resonate with today's players. Now, these are all very well-liked and respected coaches, Staley, Pleasant, and Glenn in particular. And that being said, the proof is in the seasons to come, but Holmes is supposed to be a heady draft guy. Draft quality starters, then, is what you're going to be expecting. Agnew is supposed to be a sharp eye for NFL talent as an NFL scout. Bring in smart free agent signings. And the staff needs to get everybody on the same page and sell it hard. That's the big one. Something that Patricia could never do. But this staff, chock full of guys who actually played the game, and that just might be the difference, but we all got to hope so.
I said it last week. This, to me, looks like it's going to work, and I feel better about it today than I did last week.